Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. We're gathered here this morning for the pre-launch meeting and release of the manifesto of the Dominica Labour Party for this 2014 general election. And I would like to welcome the Prime Minister, the Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit, the members of the head table who are here. Shortly we shall be welcoming Peter St. Jean. We also have with us Ms. Rosalind Paul, who will be speaking on social transformation. Mr. Cassius Daru, speaking on employment, youth and family affairs and sports. And the Honourable Ian Douglas, speaking on the drivers of the economy, tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, services, etc. I would also like to welcome all of the candidates of the Dominica Labour Party in this general election who have been working very hard already and have at just less than a month hard work ahead with them. Particularly to the students who are gathered here together, the present voters and future voters of Dominica. And we are holding it in this forum because of the importance of education and the association that education has played, particularly within the last few years. We're in this wonderful building, the State College building here, and therefore it's to basically focus on the importance of education in this highest position of education in this country, here at State College. I'd also like to invite the media and our listeners and viewers. The program here is going live on Kyrie and on Marpin Channel 13 and online at labourcartoavai.com. It may be an uncommon sight to see me at the podium here with the Dominica Labour Party slogan and symbol before me. But I was invited by the Honourable Prime Minister to be chair here today because we wanted to emphasize the seriousness of this exercise, that a manifesto is indeed a plan, a route for the years ahead, but also noting the achievements of the years before. And for this reason, I have been asked to be here to chair this morning's function. It is indeed a pre-launch event. The real launch will be at 7 p.m. this evening at Trafalgar, but it is to associate leaders of the community, civil society, private sector, public sector, and indeed the students of Dominica about the plans and programs that are within that manifesto. But I have another link with the Dominica Labour Party, which goes back at least some almost 60 years. And this is the association with Phyllis Chandolfrey, who was the founder, along with Emmanuel Christopher Loblack, of the Dominica Labour Party back on the 25th of May, 1955. And I inherited from her all of her documents related to the foundation of the party. And so therefore have in my possession the archives and the early papers of those pioneering years back in the 1950s of the Dominica Labour Party. And as we gather here to pre-launch this manifesto of 2014, I want to just give you all a glimpse of the manifesto and the poster of 1961. Remember, this was an age when literacy was not as established as it is in Dominica today. And therefore, this one-pager was a poster and a manifesto. And a few words here were spread all over Dominica to indicate the program of the government. And as we are about to launch a much more complex manifesto, because in the last 53 years, the life and times of Dominica have changed from those early days, I just want to read what that early manifesto had. And it just takes a minute or two, because encased in all of that were the ideals of that early Labour Party that would go on in January 1961 on the basis of this manifesto to win their first term in government and continue on for another 4 terms. The Labour Party of Dominica Election Manifesto. At last, Dominica has her greatest opportunity to put into office a Labour government for the benefit of the people. Our Labour Party offers to the voters of Dominica a group of candidates chosen by democratic selection who are well fitted to govern Dominica wisely and honestly. We promise that, if elected, we will represent our constituents as their legislative servants and will report back to those whom we represent faithfully and regularly. We believe that the first things must come first, and that the basic needs of our people are food, homes, health, education, work. In order to achieve these things, we must have roads. Vote Labour, vote for yourselves, the Dominica Labour Party. Simple. That was the manifesto of 1961. I also possess the first constitution of the Dominica Labour Party, written mostly by Phyllis Shand Alfrey and printed, financed by her in Trinidad when she was a minister of the Federation in Trinidad. And the same simple ideals that are maintained in that manifesto are the simple ideals that are maintained within this early constitution. It was a remarkable combination, those two people. Emmanuel Christopher Loblack, a working class roots man, a mason from Grand Bay, and Phyllis Shand Alfrey, an intellectual, a former Labour Party worker in the British Labour Party in England, and someone who had come from one of the elite families of Dominica, whose family went back in the Leeward Islands and Dominica many centuries. And yet those two people linked together to form a party which had the principles of what in those days was called Fabian socialism. It was a socialism that did not lean towards communism. It was a socialism that considered itself a free, fair, and democratic type of socialism. And with that, they went traversing Dominica. By 1958, actually, they were joined by Edward Oliver LeBlanc, and in 1961, he resigned his seat in the federal parliament in Trinidad and came to lead that Labour Party. Only one of these persons are still alive today, and he is still active in the Dominica Labour Party, phoning up in the phone-in programs regularly, Mr. N.A.N. Ducre, still here today out of this entire group from 1961. And so to today's manifesto. It has been put together by a group of concerned and technically expert persons, but it has been linked with interviews to candidates, to ministers of government. A wide cross-section have put their ideas into this document. And it covers a wide range of areas, and that is why we have this team here on the head table today, because they will be introducing some of the main parts of the manifesto. Essentially, the manifesto that is going to be launched tonight is based on 3 R's. It's realistic, and it's based on a realistic program. This is not a manifesto that has picked ideas out of the sky, waking up in the morning with another brilliant thought, with absolutely no consciousness of what kind of economy there is and where the money is to achieve these things. It's realistic because the people who have mainly contributed to put it together have worked and understand the economy and the realities of Dominica. So it's realistic. It is responsible. The fact is that it does not make wild promises that cannot be achieved and just sound good. These commitments to the future are actually built in on programs that are already started, programs that have been signed for, programs where funding has been arranged. So there's a realism into understanding what is going to be taking place. And it is also relentless. That is a relentless pursuit of goals. I think that in the character and personality of the Prime Minister, we can see very much this relentlessness, whether it is here or whether it is around the globe, asking, persuading, encouraging investment and contributions towards building the basic services to help this country go forward. So that manifesto basically has these three components. It's realistic, it's responsible, and its goal is relentless.